This is the third of 5 short tutorials looking at how to create and upload regions to the Space Virtual World platform. In the last 2, we looked at how to set up your project, set up the scene, and we looked at the first part of the scene export settings component, which was the virtual goods part. Now we're going to look at the export settings, the world map and the region URL, which takes us about halfway down the total scene export settings in the inspector. So the export settings mode, there are 3 options in here: single scene, multi-bundle and additive scenes. If your scene is less than, say, 100, maybe even 150 meg at the point at which the user downloads it, which is a very rough guide because it varies, but that generally means that your upload size is 300 to 450. So you'll see a zip file at the end of these tutorials. If that's 300 meg, your download size is probably 100. It's a rough estimate, but it's about a 3-to-1 ratio. But single scene is probably then going to be fine. It means that when the user logs in, the whole region downloads at once. If you've got a much bigger scene, the user's facing 500 gigabyte download, then you might want to break it up into multi-bundles or additive scenes. Multi-bundle is our form of dynamic loading control. It splits the scene into as many components as we can. We have an algorithm that will analyze your scene automatically and break it up into smaller individual sections. And you can influence that by how you parent and child objects in your scene. There's more documentation on this on our wiki, but very basically we analyze all of those against each other, and then where there are bundles in your scene with more than 40 kilobytes of shared data, we will group them. Roughly speaking, the ideal end result is somewhere between 20 and 30 bundles that will arrive progressively. That might be all the vegetation in one bundle, or it might be the building they're going to arrive in one bundle and buildings further away in another. Those are how you would use the parenting in the scene to influence that. And then the additive scenes option is a different methodology. This is actually Unity's utility, and you would need to manually split your content here. You might have a root scene containing occlusion and light map and navigation data, and then add additional scenes on top of that. You will need Unity 5 multi-scene tools to manually set that up. So there are 2 methodologies that allow you to handle much bigger scenes and then offer progressive download, progressive cache. For most scenes, though, the single scene mode is probably appropriate. Suggested memory, there's obviously a balance between file size and memory and performance. That's up to you, but the default settings are probably going to be fine. Next we come on to the world map. 2 images that you may recall in the previous tutorial. The store and inventory icon images I left because this region isn't going to be for sale, but it is discoverable and it's public, so you can find it in the destination guides and the world map, and you can search for it. So these 2 images combine to create the presentation of the region to people who are searching and browsing, and they also present the splash page, the loading page, when people are actually teleporting in. So it's an opportunity to create a brand, a call to action for people to visit the region. We've split it into 2 images because the background image, which is the larger one here, the world map preview image, this will be stretched slightly depending on the aspect ratio of the user's machine. If they're on them on a mobile, it might be different to a browser. And then there's a logo that runs on top that won't be stretched. So the background image I've got here is a screenshot from the region, and you want it to be a 2:1 aspect ratio. I've set this one to 2048 by 1024. Frankly, 1024 by 512 is probably fine as well. And it's a JPEG or a PNG image. Obviously, if you bring in a Photoshop file or a BMP file, the aspect ratio may get messed up as it's imported. The second image is the logo that sits on top. Again, I've given it a 2:1 aspect ratio, 512 by 256, and this is a PNG file so that I can capture the transparency. I do need to tick alpha is transparency when I import it. And if I highlight both, you can see that they are set as textures in Unity. I would just double check that, because Unity can treat images as sprites and things like that. So I drag each of these into place, and in the final tutorial you'll see how those appear in various different places in world. Now I'm going to look at the region URL. So you can, one of the key features of the Space Virtual World platform is that you can just walk straight in from the browser via WebGL to your region. And so every region can have a unique URL, and I'm going to give this one the title old_ruin, and I'm going to click reserve and see if it's available, and it is. So I now own sine.space /old_ruin, and I can just share that with anybody, and they can walk straight into this region. You can see we've also created an ID. And then lastly, for this tutorial, these two buttons here, if I click them, will take me directly to the region, directly from the editor, which is useful for review. There's Creator. This is our preview server. That's where the content will appear first for you to review it. Before then it goes to live. There's no point in me clicking either of those yet because I haven't published it, but those are the two links that will take me there directly once it's been submitted. Okay, in the next and fourth tutorial, we'll look at the platform settings and the report and the script list.